Hello, class. How's everybody doing? It has been a couple of weeks, and I want to say thank you so much for your patience. And today we're going to talk about using technology to manage business information. This is a very interesting topic because it is so relevant to businesses and information technology as we use it today. In our module for this week, we'll be talking about the role of technology in business, discuss ways in which information in business is used, how as business owners, as we interact with businesses, the way we should expect our data to be used and so forth. Compare the ways that businesses can manage information and identify security, privacy, and ethical issues affected by business and technology. Now, technology changes in business. It's really fundamental. When we talk about technology, at its root in definition of technology, technology is any new processes, any new ways of doing business, of conducting business. We have to make the distinction between technology and digital technology. What we'll be talking about here is digital technology. For that, we need what we call computers. Computers, at its root, when they first come out, it was a piece of technology. It allowed workers to write letters, analyze financial information. I don't know how many of you remember a wonderful, sexy job back in the days we used to call data entry, right? That was technology. When we talk about software that's loaded on your computer, to provide specific type of functionality, such as Microsoft Office, such as Zoom that we are using right now, that I'm using right now to talk to you. That's a piece of technology, right? We have networking system, the ability for my computer in my house, from the bedroom to the living room to the kitchen and to my office to the dining room, to connect with each other using one central location to share information, to have access to the internet. It's what we call networking. But many of us are mainly familiar with networking when it comes to our work. All of us are in the same network for our work. For instance, for the university, achs.edu, most of the information, most of the computers connected to that domain, we will call that the network. Telephone systems, I'm pretty sure many of you know that what that is. And granted, we're not talking about the same old telephone system that we used to use back in the past when we used to dial information. Now we have more cellular mobile technology for the telephone system component. Accounting systems, we have systems that track every dollar a company spends along with every dollar of revenue. You have QuickBooks, you have Zoho. There are so many other ones that do such things for us. And we have our own banking system that have accounting system to keep track to allow you to develop budget. So all those information, all those technology pretty much are in use in our day-to-day life. We have also computer-aided manufacturing systems, which are software technologies and computer control machine to automate the manufacturing process. What is the influence of technology on businesses, on your business? Now, we can go back to the whole industrial revolution since it started with locomotive to where we are right now. What is certain, what is factual, things have changed since the time we were talking about agriculture, we were talking about assembly line, to now we're talking about robotics, right? We're talking about how human beings will interact with machines so they can be more productive. So you have this whole spectrum of industrial revolution, from the first industrial revolution to the second to the third to the fourth one. And now we are at the cusp of the fifth industrial revolution. This is a little beyond of this class, but I will highly recommend that you conduct some research on the fifth industrial revolution. An example of technology, we can talk about Amazon Go, which is an example of how the future, we hope this, oh, not hope, it is already in operation, where in Seattle, Amazon have locations where you can walk in, you can shop, and as you walk away, money, the funds automatically debited from your account. For some people, it's a little bit creepy. For other people, it's convenient on steroids. So it is your choice. We have mobile solutions, cloud computing, extreme customer segmentation. Just give you a brief context on what those are. Mobile solutions, more people are using mobile devices. Some of you may be watching this on your mobile phone. We use mobile to buy items on Amazon, to sell items, let's just say on Craigslist, Depop. We shop on Etsy. We find local businesses and share retail experience with friends. Cloud computing allow business large and small to move some of their operations to third-party servers accessible via the internet. Now, cloud computing may appear a little bit challenging for many. Let me try to demystify cloud computing for you. Cloud computing is pretty much using somebody else's computer to do their work. Now, there's the whole notion of cloud storage, right? Cloud storage is the same thing. You have private cloud storage, consider it as a parking space. The parking space that's in front of your house is private. Nobody else can park in your parking space unless you allow them to. So that will be your private cloud computing. That will be your private cloud storage. Now, if you go to work and your work has a parking and you have the key to enter the parking, right? That is not private per se, right? You still have access to it. Many people have access to it, but you also have a key to grant you access. Now, it's a little bit public, but it's not really public because if you go to the mall where everybody parks in the open garage, that is public. So I just talked to you about private and I talked to you about public, right? So private is the parking spot in your house. Public is when you park at the mall. The one about your job is what we call a shared space, meaning I'm sharing it, you're sharing it, but we are sharing it with security. We are sharing it with permission. So this is cloud computing demystified. It is using somebody else's computer. It is also parking. It's also park your car in front of your house at work. In front of your house, that's private. At work, that is shared. And let's just say in the street and the mall, that's public. So you can imagine you have different level of security, right? Depending on which parking location you park your car. Extreme customer segmentation. Simple as a Google account can let businesses know where their visitors are coming from, what browsers they are using, how they found your website, and what they do while on it. Now, we will be talking about ethical use of data, but I will tell you, if a business does not use data to its benefit these days, you are going to fall behind. The how is different, but data is available. Data tells us so much about our behavior. It will be, I would say, ill-guided for a business not to take advantage of data. Connectivity, the rise of mobile technology has blended almost seamlessly the communication software to create this hyper real web of real information. Social impact, the rise of social networking, right? We talk about how users can connect with a geographical obstacle. I was in Ethiopia for a couple of weeks and I was able to connect. I was not able to do video because the internet connections are not that strong. But 2 weeks in Ethiopia, I was still able to connect to share information, to grade your papers, and so on and so forth. Now, discussion for the class, I will highly recommend you answer this question for yourself. How has technology changed or influenced the way that you interact with businesses that you frequent? Now, what are some of those businesses? Let's talk about the mall. Many of us just experience what we call Black Friday. Some of us did not get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the crowd. We decided to do what? Cyber Monday. Now, on Cyber Monday, what do? You get on your computer, you purchase things, and you share your credit card information, your personal information, your address, and so on and so forth. Do you trust those businesses that you are sharing all that information to. Now, the opposite side could be, man, I don't trust those people. I'm gonna go ahead to Walmart, to Target, or you name your favorite store to go ahead and purchase. Now, some of you will write check. Is your check as secure? Because if I were to ask you, give me your checking account number and your writing number, you will feel like it's insulting, right? I'm trying to steal your information. But did you know when you write a check, that's exactly what you do? You give your account number and your writing number to a stranger, to a business. Did you know that? I'm pretty sure you guys know that because that's basic. Now, business intelligence. We have data, big data, that was a component of my dissertation. It's very fascinating. Like I said, if you're a business owner, you're not using data, you are behind the curveball. Business intelligence is what you get out of the data. The data is available, but it doesn't really mean anything. We will see later on data provides you information, but what do you do with that information? And business intelligence is how you extract the wisdom from that information. It's the most effective way when you combine external and internal information even about the business itself, right? It really helps you in business process management. We call that BPM, decision making, business planning, collaboration. Now, the fun thing, how businesses use information. Wow, let's talk about data. Data can be any character, right? It's bits and bytes, 1 and 0. What's important about the data is the information that you can extract from that data. Information is formatted in a manner that allows business users to utilize such information in a significant way. You can do analytics. Some of that what we call descriptive analytics. That's very kind of what I'm looking for, statistics, right? Meaning describing. In the class, if we have 20 students, 10 male, 10 female, that is descriptive. But we can also use data for prescriptive analytics, right? Meaning I can, as a business owner, if I have your data, I know how you purchase. If I'm communicating to you, I can prescribe you things without you knowing I'm prescribing you things. I can guess what you're going to do without you even knowing what you're going to do. That's powerful. Type of business data we're dealing with, business process data, physical world observation, biological data, public, and personal. Let's dig further into all of this. Business process information. We're talking about collecting data regarding business processes, right? How am I doing as a business? Pretty much anything that ranges from collecting the number of takes it takes for my customers to pay invoices to the time it takes to assemble the package or product. This is all about operation, right? This has nothing to do with human. This has nothing to do with personal information. Physical world observation is data collected using devices such as radio frequency identification, wireless remote cameras, GPS sensor technology, and wireless access points. Okay, those are big words. Let me try to break them down. The radio frequency identification, many of your passports, they're going to have that. The new passport, I believe by May 6th, 2023, will have RFID. So I was told. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have been in state like Florida, or if you're local, if you have a toll where you are, and they use RFID as you're driving, you can drive through the toll. There is a device on your in your vehicle that continuously transmitting information, and the receptor of the RFID will collect that information. So if you're driving, you're pretty much sending information. It doesn't mean anything, right? And as you get right here, sending that information, capture that information, boom. They use RFID as well in manufacturing and shipping. I believe Walmart uses that a lot so that they can track where your merchandise is when you go into the airplane. right? Your luggage, you can follow your luggage to RFID. Wireless remote cameras, we know that in many cities have cameras, right? If you're in a public space, you cannot really claim privacy, and there's a camera there. Those cameras used for crime. CCTV use a lot of cameras, public cameras. We have GPS sensors that we use on our phones. And also we have wireless access points. That's why when you, in some cities, they call them smart cities, you can go throughout the city and you're still connected to the internet. Some people look at it as what I would call a benefit. You can call it as convenience, and you can also call it as invasion of privacy. The choice is yours. Other business information data, biological data, voice and face recognition. If you travel quite often, some airports have this new company called Clear that you put your little face in a little camera, boom, they know who you are, get you through TSA. Now, TSA, it's very long line if you travel. If you business travel, you pay about $100 to get what we call TSA pre-check. And if you do not care about your biological data being available to another company, you can get Clear, which is TSA pre-check. Public data. Whenever you log into the internet, congratulations. Your information is being shared by other people. Everybody can really collect your information from the internet. If you think you have privacy, if you care about privacy, really stay away from the internet. The question for me is not about privacy, it's about that what other information you're willing to share in order for you to be a productive member within this new society that is so interconnected. Then we have also personal information where a lot of people are very sensitive. A lot of businesses must be responsible for what I call NPI, which is non-public information. That deals with your social security number, date of birth, your name, your address, and a breach with any major financial organization may constitute a breach of disclosing NPI information to people who should not be having that kind of information available to them. Now, think about it. You're a business owner, you care about data, you have all this different information available to you. Where in the world do you put all that information? We have what we call the data warehouse. It collects data from multiple sources, internal, external, considering more like of a database, right? And then you put all that information. So if you really think about it, let's just say the palm of my hand is the warehouse. I have a source here coming from the internet. I have a source here coming from, let's just say Facebook. I have a source here coming from Twitter. I have a source here coming from our website. I have another source here coming from the city that I have API connected so that I can get information. Let's just say if you want information about from Google about the city where people are located, about the postal office, so you can figure out shipping costs and so forth. You have 5 different streams of information data coming to the palm of my hand that we call the data warehouse. And what do you do with all that information? That's what you use. We talked about earlier the business intelligence. You use software called about SQL query to do what we call the data mining, which is the process of getting specific pieces of information out of their data warehouse. And the beauty of it, you can write SQL code to get information, guess what, from all the sources that I mentioned earlier. Very great information. Now, some of data warehouse and BI that we can talk about is airline, healthcare, public sector, retail, hospitality. They all use information. They all use query to get your information. If you did not know it, now you know it. Now you have information in primary business activities for that kind of information, right? The primary business activities should be inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, sales and marketing, and service. And all these are pretty much well defined. Inbound, you have function performed to bring in raw material and other needed inputs. I talked earlier about the RFID. RFID information may be about logistics, bringing material and operations is how you convert such material into the products and services that you're going to ship out. Outbound logistics, sales and marketing services, very well defined here, very well defined in your lessons. You guys can get more in-depth information there. Now, how do you support? Now, think about it. We just mentioned different sources of data. You create a huge database. We call it the warehouse or the data lake. That's another word that you often use. All that information is coming left and right into the lake, right? So let's consider this as the lake. You have queries, SQL, that really take information from the data lake to provide you with business intelligence. Now, you need to have an infrastructure to support it. That means finance, accounting, quality control, all which will depend from all that information that you're collecting, that you're trying to get the intelligence. You have resource management, that recruiting, hiring, and other services to attract and retain employees. You have procurement. All those activities, we can use the information that you have today to do that. Now, you also have to manage an infrastructure to support this apparatus of information that is coming into your business. You cannot just say, okay, I'm bringing it in. Now, the good news is, we talked about cloud computing earlier. The good news is you do not have to have in-house a server farm, a CIO, Chief Information Officer, or Chief Technology Officer, CTO, to run this. As a small business owner, you can have software technologies where you run all those things from a third party. Now, it would be wise that you have somebody who knows what they're doing, who can run the report that is needed for you. Because once it's run beyond a handful of employees, you're gonna need to share information. You're gonna need to have more than one computer running to get all that information for you. And you definitely probably gonna develop a network where you keep all that information within your house and not communicate outside. We talk about cloud computing. I've already defined that. And next one will be the advantages of using cloud computing. We talk about cost saving. So you don't have to build a whole infrastructure for yourself. You can use Amazon Web Services. You can use other technology services for that. Speed of delivery. The more data you have, the more you need to scale. Then you don't need to do that yourself, because you can easily shift from 50 gig of information to 1 terabyte to 10 terabyte. The more information data storage that you need, cloud computing allows you to scale up just like that. Therefore, it's really scalable. Employees can be mobile. You can perform your business anywhere. You can perform your business anytime. You can perform your business using a variety of devices as long as they are connected to the internet. And preferably you have a staff to manage this, right? Some of the challenges of cloud computing also deal with internet services. For instance, while I was in Ethiopia, there are certain activities I could not perform because, first of all, it was not reliable. Being in a foreign country, the information would leave that foreign country, come to the United States, leave the United States, come back to that foreign country, and then there's so many layers of servers of protocols that's involved. I elected not to do what I usually do, right? Now, there are certain stuff, financial services, I still can do because those companies have firewalls and they can figure out where the information is coming. They have security apparatus available to validate that on me, and so on and so forth. So if you are in a location that do not have reliable internet service, that's going to be a disadvantage for you. If you don't have the right certificate protocols for security, that's going to be a disadvantage for you. If you have systems that's not up to date that can run the load that you're gonna put, that's gonna be a disadvantage for you. So cloud computing is exciting, but you need to be equipped to take advantage of it as well. Now, uh, let's talk about something we call intranet. Intranet is a private network accessible only to an organizational staff. Now, what's an intranet? An intranet is, for instance, let's take a look at your house. You have a living room, you have a kitchen, you have your bedroom, and you have a dining room and a living room. Let's say you have a computer in each of those rooms. Not because they are confined within your home, we call that an intranet, right? Because the information, you can create a network where they share information with each other from the bedroom to the bathroom to the living room. It does not leave your house. An intranet is a private network to an organization that do not leave the organization domain. It allows workforce productivity because it's fast, enhance collaboration, it's local, time saving, reduce costs, right, and improve communication. Now, in some areas, the intranet, you have to get information outside of your house to really uh, perform certain tasks. That's why you have what we call extranet. In other words, we call it the internet, right? So building customer relations, customer can connect with information. Let's just say you want a customer to have access only to your living room, right? All the other rooms are locked. And that way, you have a way to connect with the outside world. So that is really some of the benefits of the extranet. Now, you can have what we call a VPN. The VPN will be, let's say, if me and my neighbor, we want to keep information together. Therefore, what I do, I have the intranet in my house. There is the intranet in my neighbor's house. And the VPN allow us to connect to each other without the outside world getting involved. And so some advantages is the network traffic access, pretty much keep everybody else on the outside, right? And it's very safe, and it's like an intranet extended. Having said all that, there are what we call security challenges whenever you're dealing with information security. You have ransomware, you have data breaches, you have viruses, you have phishing, denial of service. All those are kind of technical terms, but I will tell you the greatest weakness in information technology is human beings. It's human beings not paying attention to what they should be paying attention, right? So because of that, I will tell you business owners to be careful with who you have access to your information. Usually attackers or thieves, they need somebody from the inside to give them information. And if you care, if you are careful and you can minimize that risk, most likely you will have a very positive experience. And do not trust any princes from Kenya or Nigeria, where in reality they may be in South Carolina, disguising themselves to steal your money. So, in summary, we talk about the different type of technology used in business. We talk about how technology changes business. We also discuss how business intelligence and its impact on business success, definition distinguishing between data and information, the different ways that business can collect information, differences between data mining and data warehousing, and how business use information, and how business can use the internet to manage information. We also talk about the virtual private network and security and so forth. I hope this information was very useful for you all as we go ahead, pretty much have this information for this week, and I will be go ahead and post additional information in the previous week, and looking forward to all of you having a wonderful weekend. Take care and see you soon.